Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. In our last episode, we were working on condensates to all of the beautiful things like refined natural gas, BTX, and tailings, and we've got that all set up in these three trash providers, which is what we want, because remember, those prioritize sending to the regular network first, so they're not just trashing things, they're only trashing the excess. So this is actually going to be a great way to use up our condensates that we're making around the base. One of the primary places that we'll get condensates is right here from the processing of natural gas. And the other thing we're not doing yet is making large amounts of gasoline, which could be a problem because we're using that as a catalyst for a few recipes. The main thing that's producing gasoline right now is the light oil that we get from shale processing, which means we're actually going to have a ton of extra stone if that ends up being a thing. So at some point we need to try to make this all cohesive, because I've also got this down here, which we're just dumping the shale oil, and that's like horribly wasteful, obviously. So I think I want to get this setup going, and so that means we're going to need reformer, and then we're going to put that, you know, all of those things onto trains instead of just trashing them. So that's my current plan, at least. And everything gets locally trashed, so we'll put it onto trains, and then if we still have too much, then we dump it, right? As far as this condensates right here, we've been using it to power the whatchamacallits. But we also have the heavy oil. I feel like we did the math on this, and I don't remember now, unfortunately, how the math worked out. So we're gonna have to set up the thing in Helmod again, because I do want to know if we're using shale oil, or no, what's it called? Kerogen. So kerogen gets used to make all the things. Well, no, just shale oil. And then, plus steam. And then that gets turned into... Wait, what's that? Shale oil? Might be some other options later. For shale oil. Being able to turn it into fuel oil is interesting. Oh, that doesn't exist. Okay, never mind. Ammonia, once we're in blue science. And sulfur and nitrogen? That's probably bad. That's a lot of nickel for nitrogen. But maybe it's fast enough that that could be worth it someday. I don't know. Anyway, what am I doing here? So, ingredient input, I'll say 15 kerogen. And then that 50 heavy oil, I'm thinking if that gets turned into steam. Because we could do kerosene, but that's worse in oil burners. Because we're only getting 1 unit of kerosene for every 2.5 units of heavy oil, but it doesn't have 2.5 times the fuel density. So there's no point to do that if we're just going to use oil burners anyway. Now, oil burners... Well, we can just look at this. This provides 40 megawatts of oil burner power. But the steam input has to be made from... Well, it doesn't have to be made, but we're planning to make it from oil burners. You have to switch this over. And then we change the fuel to... I mean, we can just look at heavy oil, for example. And then if I input 50 heavy oil, that gets us 162 steam, and then that's more steam than we... Well, shoot, that's not what I meant to do. I guess we put this at the bottom. Oh, no, we put that at the bottom, and then we remove the heavy oil additional input. There we go. So we use up the heavy oil we made to then make steam, and that loops back around to make more steam than we need. So what I'm trying to get at here is we don't need to use any of the condensates for fuel. We can use only the heavy oil on this build. So that's pretty nice. And we need retorters and reformers and oil burners. Are all of those in our bot mall? I don't think any of them are. The oil burners might be. No, I don't think they are. The other question is, should we use oil burners at all? Because kerosene can be turned into, you know, oil power plant fuel. So, should we just use electric steam makers? I don't actually know the best play here. Because our power network is struggling more and more, but oil power plants are pretty awesome. Do we have them? No. But we can. And those burn kerosene, and they do the exact same recipe, I think, as the coal power plants. Yeah, 500 in 20 seconds, and the oil ones are 500 in 20 seconds. So it's the exact same thing. And I forget, we calculated the energy densification of it, and it definitely is denser. So we'd be better off making power with the heavy oil turned into kerosene in one of these. I am going to research this just because it's pretty cheap. I don't want sea sponges though. For now, I'm not going to worry too much about the oil power thing. We are going to want oil burners. So I'll do a few of those. And we're going to want retorters and reformers. Those are kind of oil-based buildings, so they're going along with the gas refinery. So we'll let that go for a while. And for now, let's get an output for condensates over here. And naphtha. Yeah. Okay. So we need F-Trasher extensions. There for condensates. And then there for naphtha. Naphtha. Hard to spell. Alright. And those should both reach. We've got bots on channel 0, so those should be able to get it built. So then all we're going to do is we're going to add pumps here and here. Condensates go there. Whatchamacallit? Wow, I got that just on the right spot. Go me. That was kind of lucky, actually. And then naphtha's there. And this is naphtha from... what's it called? Raw gas. FTP. This is condensates from raw gas. FTP. And I think that's all we need. Yeah. And we're providing all the natural gas here. Of course, we're gonna potentially run into the issue where what if we wanted to process raw gas in order to get more condensates or naphtha? Then we would have to void natural gas. I don't think I'm gonna do that. This thing's just gonna run to keep natural gas filled up, and that's it. Maybe that's a bad idea, I don't know. But it's what we're doing. Okay, so that way we've got condensates accessible and we've got naphtha accessible. Now, for the billionth time, I'm going to look at naphtha, remind myself what it actually is used for. A lot of random stuff. But mostly diesel. Well, no, it's an additive for diesel. Aromatics is the main ingredient of diesel. So it's mostly used for tall oil. But naphtha's just not that good. I mean, that's the end. That's where we're getting to here. Like, you can make hydrogen randomly if you combine it with steam. If you combine it with a lot of steam and a little bit of chromium, you can get a lot of syngas out of it. This is not terrible. Once we have a good chromium build, I think this might actually be reasonable. Because then you're just turning 2 steam into 1 syngas, which is pretty powerful. If the naphtha is free. So we'll probably do that with like byproduct naphtha, and then eventually make some tall oil with it, which is better for power. We don't get this until, well, we're actually researching this right now. And then tall oil is a way to get benzene out of light oil. But light oil is used for so many good things. It's used for gasoline and aromatics. Here, this is a bad recipe, by the way. Because 200 light oil is already making 100 gasoline. Just plus 200 aromatics. And so to boost the gasoline by 50%, you have to add in 300 olefins and 2 Nextlet. That's a terrible... That needs to be buffed. Given that this one exists, because I don't remember if this one used to, I don't know. But this one balanced against this one just makes no sense to me. I guess if you have insane amounts of free olefins, you might use this for a little bit more gasoline, but that just seems bad. And then... What else can we do with it? What's this one? That's not until later. Kind of a weird one. You get a ton of cold steam out of it, though. And tar and syngas. Anyway. I guess that's really the main recipe. Light oil just is aromatics and gasoline, or you combine light oil and tall oil to make benzene and aromatics. You get a few less aromatics, but now you get benzene instead of gasoline at the 2-to-1. So that's certainly useful, which means that naphtha to tall oil is useful. That's kind of my summary of that. For now, I'm not doing anything with naphtha because we can't. Soon, do we get any of these recipes? We can do the diesel one as well. Diesel power is used for something, I don't know what. And then we could look into bitumen froth. Oil sand slurry makes bitumen froth, which then makes bitumen. Bitumen makes sulfur. Someone in the YouTube comments was pointing this out. That's one that we hadn't noticed. So that's a good way to get a lot of sulfur, potentially. And then... If I'm remembering correctly, can't we get naphtha from the oil sands processing? Or at least I remember it seemed to used to do that, but that might not be the case anymore. So you crush the oil sand, and then you can make oil sand slurry, or you can... Oh, you make oil sand slurry, and then you mix that with more crushed oil sand, and that gets you bitumen froth. So then the bitumen froth can only be used for one thing, which is bitumen, and you need naphtha. Okay, and then you get tailings, which of course you can process into the cold water slurry, which we already know you can process into benzene and aromatics. And then you get bitumen, which can be processed into all of the things. Condensates, high, medium, low, residual in a DDC. High distillates become naphtha, but we have nowhere near enough. Well, naphtha, what is it? It's like 1 to 3, more than 1 to 3. So then if we have 300 bitumen, we only needed about 100, a little bit less than 100 naphtha for that. The condensates, we already know, turn into not naphtha. Well, refined natural gas can turn into naphtha, though. Oh my gosh, the loops, man. The freaking loops here. Refined natural gas can be turned into naphtha 1 to 1. So that means condensates can be turned into naphtha 1 to 1. Interesting. Which means that's 25 naphtha right there. The high distillates can be turned into condensed distillates and naphtha. Condensed distillates we know can't be turned into much. Just a little bit of gasoline. Tiny, not even enough to pay for this own recipe, I think, right? Because 50 would turn into 12.5. Yeah, so it's like just supplements this own thing. The barrels aren't used anywhere. Canisters aren't used anywhere. So yeah, condensed distillates are pretty useless. They just get you a little bit of petroleum. And this is all high distillates are used for, right? There is a turd recipe. There are 2 different turd recipes where they show up, but otherwise, yeah. Okay, and then the medium distillates go to make... You can upgrade them back to high distillates. Now that's interesting. Because then that could go to making more naphtha to fuel the recipe. But then you need 10 chromium alloy. Oh my gosh, the complications. And then stripped distillates are actually pretty useful. Stripped distillates can even go to gasoline or methanol or light oil. Wow. Wait, that one's pretty huge. 100. Wow, look at that. And that light oil pays for the... Okay, so stripped distillates are the king. They can even be turned into olefins. Alright, so we want all the stripped... And benzene? Oh my gosh. Okay, stripped distillates are the... Now, you do need titanium tetrachloride, but it's not... We'll mass produce that eventually. So that means medium distillates are like the big boy. So you probably wouldn't want to upgrade them to high unless you really needed the naphtha. And then low distillates, we already know, go to things like grease and oil and lubricant and xylenol. And kerosene. And coal gas, which is not nothing. Okay. Alright. I'm getting stuck. I just love these loops so much. I love looking into them. So for right now, what we need to do is get this, because this is where our stone is coming from, like our actual stone supply. I need to go fix those mines too. Can't believe we've mined so much of that out. Wow. It's crazy to think we're gonna have to get to another stone patch at some point. Where is another stone patch, by the way? Over there, 27 million, that's a good one. Oh, and then there's 2 right here, okay. So that's not too bad. Anyway, for now, we just want to process this shale oil and not get rid of all the things. So the question is, do I process the light oil on site or not? Probably not, which means we're gonna need 3 F-Trasher extensions. I'm starting to wonder if we should be doing a super trasher for fluids. Because that would be simpler. I think I want to. Let's do the fluid super trasher. So what we need to do is take the regular super trasher, which is where? There. And now we need to modify it to be fluids. Because this can do up to 6 fluids if we really want it to. And we don't... Well, we do need to set filters. Okay. So whatever these are set filters to, we need to do the pumps. Wait, is that... No. Is that right? No, this is different. Oh, gosh. Because what we need is to set the filter of the pump to whatever the train is requesting. And that's not what we're doing here? No, that is what we're doing here. Yeah. We're taking... What is... The input is from the train station and the output of the cybernetic combinator? Oh, that's to disable these so they don't overfill. Right. Okay. So that's actually the same idea. It'll be sending a signal. So instead, we just want the pumps to only be on if their respective fluid is greater than a certain amount. Now, we could sushi the whole thing. But that seems like a bad idea. Or is it? We could have... Okay, hold on. I'm having an idea. We could have a line of fluids. Let's just imagine these aren't connected. These are different fluids. And then we could have a line of pumps. And then I could just set the filters of those pumps to be what the trains are wanting. And then it would only pump that fluid out. And then it would immediately be pumped into the, these would all be connected. And then there would be the pumps into the train. Let's imagine that's pumping into the train. And then that way, it would only pull the desired fluid out. And then we could have as many fluids as we want. We could have 30 fluids in our super trasher. Huh. That is interesting. That doesn't limit us to 6. And it also reduces the pipe spaghetti, because all of these going to the train can be one pipe network. When I think about it that way, I don't feel like it's that crazy. Now the red being 30 stacks, like we're gonna have to modify that. Obviously we'll just change it to like train, 50,000. So we won't need the stack size. So we'll need to change that around a little bit. But the idea here, I think is gonna work. Let's do... Oh, wait a second. That wire is attached to the output of that one. Okay, I just want to make sure we don't lose that part. Okay, so this wire... These are attached like that, and then that one is attached to the output of that. Like this. Okay. And then that one's just that output, so like that. And then can we attach them all to the same pipe network? I think we can. No. Wait. No, sorry. These are not the right ones to attach to. But let's take this one step at a time. So then we have our array of fluids. And these are the pumps out of said fluids. And this is the array of connections. And then these are the ones that need to be filtered. So those are filtered based on the actual request, which is coming from this cybernetic output. And then we're taking the cybernetic output, which is a negative, and then we're adding that to what the train has, and then we're negating that. So it's going to end up being a positive signal that will decrease as the train fills up. And that positive signal is saying which fluid we want. So then that is the signal from either of these that we want to set filters to. So in this case, we need a red, I'm gonna do a red output from both of these, and I'll change the wiring here in a second, but the red output here, shoot. What is the disconnect button? I can never remember. Alt click, control click, shift click. There we go. This red output is saying which fluid we need to steal from the tanks. And that's going to be passed down to these to set filters. And we don't need green connections. Okay, so those are set filters. They're always enabled. So as long as there's a filter on it, it'll be working. Now, then these guys need to be turned on only if their train wants that thing. So now we need a direct connection, not from here. This can be removed. But from here. The actual train is saying, I want this thing. And then that will be the enable if anything is less than 0. So these will be pumping only if this thing is saying, hey, we have a train that requested something. What if they both request at the same time? I just realized that's going to mung things up. Shoot, that's going to mung things up. No. Because they can both request at the same time. That's the worst part. Since it's not necessarily going to be one at a time, this could totally royally screw up something. Because this one could ask for gasoline, this one could ask for kerosene, and then the gasoline and kerosene won't arrive, and then both of these pumps are on, and then they both get kerosene in them. Shoot. So these need to also be filtered. That should make it work, actually. Will it set filter based on a negative signal? I actually don't know that. It might. We can test that really easily. Constant combinator. Signal. Gasoline. -1. Signal, set filter. Shoot. That's really inconvenient. I mean, I know in sometimes it's convenient. Wait, what? Wait, is that setting a filter or not? Shouldn't it show up there? Hold on. I don't even know if this is setting filter at all. Where's our fluid infinity pipes here? Oh, we're paused. That's the problem. Okay, does a negative work now that we're paused? Negative does not work. So here's the issue. I'm not sure if we were to use the same red signal, there's going to be crap left over in the network, right? Because these pumps will run. These pumps, they'll both turn on at the same time, but they'll both turn off at the same time. And if they turn off at the exact same tick, then there's definitely going to be fluid still in the network because of how fluid pumping works. We need these to run until, like, they need a set filter, but the positive will disappear as soon as the train has the amount that it asked for, right? Because then those two completely cancel out. If the train wanted 25,000 kerosene, but now it has 25,000 kerosene, that adds to 0 kerosene, and now the filters will no longer be set. Oh, the other problem is that these will just pump more than 25,000 kerosene into the middle network. Oh, geez. The problems are compounding by the minute, and I'm thinking less and less that this is the right decision. I'm thinking instead we just need a system that is going to support up to 6 fluids, rather than a system that, because I just don't think this is gonna work. Also, this is kind of dicey here, because, and I mean, what was that red? Let me just make sure. Yeah, the red was attached to that one, and the green goes to both. Okay. So now, if there's 6 different networks, we want this to be 1, this to be 1, this to be 1, this is 1, this is 1, this is 1. Okay, so now how do we do it? So now we just need to set the filters on these guys, and they'll pull out of their respective thing. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the way to do it. And that's how we've been doing it for other fluids. So these will just pull based on that, and these ones will pull based on that, and they'll be hooked up to the same sources for each respective item. And that way the train never gets the wrong item, because we're setting filters here. Or no, sorry, we're enable disabling. Whoops. We enable disable on anything greater than 0. Wait. No. Each one needs to be enabled based on its particular thing. Right. Okay, sorry. So this needs to be like parameter 0. We'll go, okay, sorry. Set filter, enable disable, parameter 0, greater than 0. Okay, so that's kind of the norm. And then this needs to be parameter 1, this needs to be 2, this needs to be 3, this needs to be 4, and this needs to be 5. Okay. So we can support up to 6 fluids that way. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and parameter 6. Perfect. Okay, so those will only pump when the train that's there wants that fluid. Got it. This is a high priority fluid getter ritter over. This is a high priority side product provider. Okay. We won't need stack size being factored into this. The manual inventory control is important because that's subtracting from the tanks. So this is the signals with the tanks saying what we have available. And then this one is subtracting from what we have available. So it takes each signal from... Whoa, what's going on here? Uh-oh, now I'm getting lost. These red ones are no longer necessary. So let's remove these, because those are just confusing me. Because those aren't doing anything anymore. So to subtract, what we want to do is we want to multiply each of the signals and effectively add... Can I just do each minus... Yeah, hold on. I think this is all we need to do. We'll do each minus 50,000. Output each. And now all we need to do... Hold on, I think this green needs to be attached to this input. Because that's saying how much we have. And this one's saying how much we have, but instead I think we can filter this one entirely just through this. And we don't need that guy. Okay, so both of these will subtract from the main supply when a train is coming to pick it up. That's what manual inventory control is doing. So the main supply is on the green wire. And then the green wire is also saying, hey, our main supply has 70,000 of thing X. Oh, shoot. Ah, shoot. This needs to be attached with a red wire. Then we should be okay. Wait, did I screw that up on my super trasher? Oh no. Wait, but that shouldn't matter though, because this is doing stack size. Wait a second. Yeah, none of those things have stack sizes, so it doesn't output anything. So this kind of weirdly filters out those bad signals, but yeah, this is wrong. This should be a green and red. Like this one should be red and the inventory should be on green so that those signals don't get over there. Interesting. Didn't cause problems because we got lucky. Classic. Okay, so anyway, here we're so close. Each minus 50,000 output each is telling us what we actually have in this station. I'm gonna switch the colors here to match the other one. So that way they're more consistent. And I mean, I think that's it actually. Yeah, this is pretty simple, and this way we can handle 6 fluids in the same station. I like that. Now, we do need 6, 6 tanks. What we might do... I'll set up 3. And then we'll just leave the other 3 undone. Because, like, I don't want to spend 6 tanks every time we need a super trasher, because we're not going to do 6 fluids every time. So we'll do 3 internal. And then these right now are not attached to anything. These ones I was planning to, like, do, you know, like this. So fluid 1, 2, and then this will be fluid 3. Oh, it works out perfect. Look at this. Couldn't have drawn it up better myself. All right, and then these connect to here and to there. Like, that's honestly really great. And now we've got a triple fluid super trasher. And when I say trasher, I more mean like side product provider, because remember, fluids are always going to be locally trashed if we have too many. So this will back up eventually. And let's test if the system works. So if we've got gasoline here in this one, then according to this station, we have 125,000 gasoline. Well, that's very wrong. Oh, minus negative 50,000. That'll do it. Double negatives. Get you every time. All right. Perfect. That has 75,000. This one has 25,000. And that's exactly what we want. All right. Sweet. Okay. And freaking Discord does not know how to do streamer mode anymore. I'm so tired of this. Ah, sorry, everybody. It's the worst. Normally when you fire up OBS, it turns Discord into streamer mode, and when you close OBS, it turns it off streamer mode. And that's all there is to it. And when it's in streamer mode, obviously it doesn't allow for the sound pings. But that's been busted lately, and it's really annoying. I don't know, I assume it's Discord's fault. Anyway, so this system works. This is the fluid super trasher. Now these are not capable of being connected to anything else. So I need to change one of these. I don't know which one. Like, should I... Okay, here's what I'm thinking. So like this one, we could go like this, and then that way I can have another connection on this line going up or down. You know, and we can put them outside the middle. Or I could just use some extra space here and add in 3. I mean, I'm already using a decent amount of space. I can space those out. Maybe I just do it this way, because that's only 2 tiles bigger, you know, in terms of what would then fit. Like this one wouldn't have fit anyway, so it only requires 1 more train space to fit them all there than it would have otherwise. So I think maybe that's fine. And then we can do something like this. So there's 1. So that's number 4. I don't know if I like that though. Wait, did we need... No, we still have 1 space to play with, so I can do this. Because I kind of want it to be, because currently it's 1, 2, 3, and I'd like it to go 4, 5, 6 if we can. So this would be 4. How do we get that linked up to here? I mean, I guess... This is just such a tricky corner right here. So maybe I actually do it like that. Because if we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then let me just hook them up properly first and we'll talk about it. So this is this one. And that connects to here. Okay, so that's 4, 5, and then 6, which then can be connected to here. And then this guy would go this way. Okay, you know, it's weird. Oh, but this one is wrong. It's weird, and yet it works. Because we need an underground for this. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I okay with that? I think so. It's easy enough to just remove those from the super trasher. They're not that expensive in the long run. And this way we're already set up for everything. Set up for complete success. And then I just connect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In terms of, you know, exterior connections to the rest of my base. It is a little bothersome though. I guess they're not connecting out the way I have it set up. Like these ones are gonna be easy. This one would be easy, but like these two, I guess I could put one there and one there. Like I feel like they should have a natural outwards connection. That isn't going to interfere with other connection lines. So that one's free. This one's free. This one's free. This one's free. This one. Okay, and then this one would be free. Okay, there we go. So then I could, you know, connect like this. So we'd get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're all connectable like that. I could even add the connections out here if we really wanted to. It's funny that one doesn't quite connect, so I'd have to do that. 4, 5, 6. Should I do that? Is it worth wasting? Because what if we're on this side? I mean, strong side versus weak side, you know? I'm actually connecting to the weak side there. Yeah, I don't love that. But I don't think I want to generically have it going both directions either. This is always the question, you know, more blueprint, like I could have one blueprint for each. I could just not set it up and then we just rely on ourselves to set it up each time. But we're going to be setting up pretty much the same thing every time. Oops. So given that, let's just connect it to the strong side and call it a day. That's my idea anyway. Oh, that one's not gonna work, is it? That's interesting. Can't go the other way. Well, that's a reason to use this line then. Is this line the same as this line though? No, it's different. Perfect. So they'll all just go up instead. Okay, so then 1 is here. That's 1. That's 3. Where's 2? 2 is this one. And then this is 4. Wait. Oh no, that one doesn't work as well. It's being used internally. So 4 needs to go. Well, I guess this one can go here, but then it can't be a... I kind of want all of them to be possible to go both ways. So many connections. Well, I mean, that's a regular pipe, so I can just do 4 there. And then that could go down. Yeah, okay. So that's 4 right here. And then 5 is up here. And then 6 will be here. And then those could all go the other direction if they needed to. That one could go down. Somehow we're not messing with any of the other lines. Okay, wow, that's kind of a mess, but it works. And now we have access to all 6 kind of at the edge. I feel like that's worth it. If we're using weak side, we're using weak side, but this whole mess seems crazy, but I actually am really glad we've made it. I know it's taken pretty much the whole episode, but this fluid super trasher can now handle 6 fluids. It can even just be a fluid provider. You know, now that we've blueprinted this, it's like we don't even need the trashing part if we don't want it. So I could make a second blueprint out of this and just make it a 6 fluid provider. That's already all blueprinted. And I can just remove the second set of pumps. I might just do that. Yeah, I mean, I think this is perfect. Okay, so we need blueprint. So F trasher extension, we're gonna do super trasher. I wanna make a copy. Fluid. Super trash. Okay. Like new contents. Super trasher. There's gotta be a way to insert blueprint here. It doesn't seem like there is though. But yeah, F super trasher is now live. And as far as F provider, you know, this is only set up for 1 fluid right now, and this is set up for 6, so that's super nice. Okay, so all of that is now done, and we can, I believe, just paste it down here. And we'll have to move around a couple things. And those are all out of order. Why are these out of order? Anyone have any ideas on why these are crazy out of order? Why would it not line these up in order? That is so frustrating. What determines the order of the parameters in the parameterized build section? Maybe we can figure it out. Maybe I can change that in the blueprint settings, but that's so weird. Light oil. Heavy, no, see, it's already screwing me up. Heavy oil. Those are not heavy oil. Heavy oil. Just want to make sure I've got the right ones. With fuel value, and then condensates. Okay, and we're gonna need another RoboPort, and we're gonna need to extend these, and then we're gonna need to fix this belt, which is probably just gonna look like something like this. That fixed. Okay. I think that's already shift built there, I think. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Okay, and then finally we're gonna revisit that blueprint and see. Okay, yeah, the order just gets out of whack for no particular reason. What's up with the 29? What am I? Okay, but we can reorder these. There we go. And now if I were to place it, perfect. Okay. I guess it got ordered in the order that I placed them into the actual combinators, or into the what are these called? Pumps. That's my guess anyway. So yeah, now that's the light oil one, that's the light oil one, that's the heavy oil, that's the heavy oil, that's the condensates, that's the condensates. Perfect. Oh, this is great. This is so great. Sweet. Okay. Well, we're missing construction robots, but that's fine. That'll get done eventually, and then we'll add reformers, or yeah, reformers over here to process the shale oil, which is going to be wonderful. And then we'll get all sorts of goodies in our fluid super trasher. And this is Keragen, or we should just say shale oil. Shale oil outputs. What have we been saying for inputs? I don't even know. Ingredients. Okay. I'll just say outs. And when we do two words to make one word, we need to at least capitalize it properly. So shale oil outs, trash provide 1, and this is shale oil outs. Trash provide 2, and that's the one that is on the side product channel, that's on the main product channel. Perfect. Sweet. Okay, well, in the next episode, we'll get the reformers set up and get everything plugged in. And then we will have all the oils being provided, which is super nice. I may want the super tankers there just to provide more buffering, which I don't think we're making. No, we are. We are making some. Okay, perfect. So I can actually utilize those. And I feel like I'm doing something wrong with these. They end up with extra items. I think it's because of tick delay nonsense, or just the robot delivering delay of whatever it is. I don't even know what this was for. Why do we need bioreactors? What were we designing once upon a time? I don't even know. I don't even remember what we were doing. Was it something with sea sponges? What did I need bioreactors for? Oh no, I don't even know. Bioreactor. What was it? Maybe it was sea sponges. Most of these recipes, it wasn't liquid manure or urea. So it's either a recipe I'm about to unlock, but none of these look familiar. Yeah, I think it probably was for sea sponges. A train is stuck. That's bad. Oh, it's just the unloading of ash takes forever. That's all. Not stuck. It's almost fast enough. Like, that's happened a couple times before where it tells me a train's stuck, and it's like, not quite. It just... I think I can control the timer in the settings. Anyway, we're gonna call this an episode. We've got our fluid super trasher designed, which I really, really like. I'm happy with it. It's a bit non-symmetrical, but I kind of like that. Not everything needs to be symmetrical in this game. Sometimes going for symmetry, I don't know. I think this can look cool too. Kind of looks more organic. And they're round, which I also like. Though, if we need more storage for things, we can add the super tankers outside the storage. Anyway, as always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next one.